The feeling began long before you had words for it, long before you understood concepts like purpose, calling, identity, or faith. There was already something inside you that seemed different from everyone around you. You noticed things other people ignored. You felt emotions more deeply than many people understood. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. While others seemed comfortable following the crowd, something within you kept pulling you in a different direction. It was not always dramatic. Sometimes it showed up as a quiet discomfort. Sometimes it appeared as a sense of being misunderstood. Sometimes it felt like loneliness in a room full of people. You could smile, participate, work hard, show kindness, and still feel as though part of you remained unseen. Many people who walk this path spend years believing something is wrong with them. They wonder why relationships often feel one-sided. They wonder why they seem to outgrow environments that once felt familiar. They wonder why they feel disconnected from conversations that satisfy everyone else. They wonder why their hearts long for something deeper. What many never realize is that being different does not mean being broken. In fact, some of the qualities that made your journey difficult are the same qualities that helped shape your greatest strengths. The truth is that people who carry a deep sense of purpose often experience life differently. They are not better than anyone else. They are not more important than anyone else, but they are often wired to see beyond what is immediately visible. While others focus on what is popular, they find themselves searching for what is meaningful. While others chase acceptance, they find themselves longing for authenticity. While others are comfortable staying where they are, something inside them keeps urging them toward growth. That difference can feel isolating. There may have been seasons when you looked around and wondered why everyone else seemed to fit in so naturally. You may have watched people form connections effortlessly, while you struggled to find people who truly understood your heart. You may have experienced rejection that made no sense. You may have been overlooked despite your loyalty. You may have given your best to people who never fully appreciated it. Those experiences leave marks. They create wounds that are not always visible, yet even in those painful moments, something remarkable was happening. Every disappointment was teaching you discernment. Every rejection was revealing where you did not belong. Every lonely season was strengthening parts of you that could not have developed any other way. The world often celebrates what is loud, immediate, and obvious, yet some of the most valuable qualities are formed in silence. Patience is formed in waiting. Wisdom is formed through hardship. Compassion is often born from pain. Resilience grows through adversity. Many of the people who feel different carry these qualities because life demanded that they develop them. You learned how to keep going when nobody applauded. You learned how to remain kind after disappointment. You learned how to continue believing when circumstances offered little encouragement. Some of your greatest victories happened in silence when nobody was watching. There were days when simply getting out of bed required courage. There were nights when you carried concerns that nobody knew about. There were moments when your heart was tired, but you kept moving forward anyway. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. What makes many chosen people different is not perfection. It is perseverance. It is the willingness to continue despite uncertainty. It is the decision to keep faith alive even when answers are delayed. It is the refusal to allow bitterness to replace kindness. Many people can remain hopeful when life is easy. It takes a different kind of strength to remain hopeful after disappointment. It takes a different kind of character to continue loving after heartbreak. It takes a different kind of resilience to continue trusting God after seasons that made no sense. That is why your story matters. Your story was never only about comfort, it was also about transformation. The seasons that tested you were also shaping who you were becoming. Every challenge revealed abilities you did not know you possessed. Every obstacle uncovered strength that had been hidden beneath the surface. Every delay taught you lessons that immediate success never could have provided. Sometimes people look at their lives and focus only on what they lost. They focus on opportunities that disappeared, relationships that ended, dreams that took longer than expected, and doors that never opened. Those losses are real. The pain is real. The disappointment is real. Yet there is another side to the story. There is also the wisdom you gained. There is the maturity you developed. There is the compassion you learned. There is the strength you discovered. There is the faith that survived seasons designed to shake it. There is the person you became through the process. Being different often means carrying a vision that others cannot yet see. It means believing in growth while others remain comfortable with limitation. It means sensing possibilities while others only see obstacles. This can create tension because not everyone will understand the journey you are on. Some people will misunderstand your boundaries. Some will question your decisions. Some will interpret your desire for growth as distance. Others may assume your quietness means weakness. Yet many of the strongest people are not the loudest. Many of the most powerful individuals carry a calm presence because they have already fought battles within themselves. They do not need constant recognition because they have learned that true worth does not come from applause. If you have spent years feeling different, consider the possibility that the difference was never your greatest weakness. Consider the possibility that it was one of your greatest gifts. The ability to feel deeply allows you to love deeply. The ability to notice what others overlook allows you to serve with compassion. The ability to endure hardship builds resilience that can inspire others. The ability to remain faithful through difficulty creates wisdom that cannot be taught in a classroom. There is something beautiful about a person who has suffered but remains kind. There is something powerful about a person who has been rejected but continues to encourage others. There is something extraordinary about a person who has known loneliness but still chooses love. Those qualities are not accidents. They are evidence of growth. They are evidence of a heart that refused to become hardened. They are evidence of strength developed through experience. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. Your kindness cost you more than most people will ever understand. There were times when you gave support, while secretly needing support yourself. There were moments when you encouraged others, while carrying your own silent struggles. There were seasons when you kept moving forward simply because stopping was not an option. God saw those moments. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. God saw the prayers spoken in private. God saw the effort that went unrecognized. God saw the sacrifices that others overlooked. Even when people failed to understand your value never disappeared. Even when recognition never arrived, your worth remained intact. Even when life felt unfair, your purpose remained alive. One of the greatest mistakes people make is measuring their value through the opinions of others. Human recognition is unpredictable. Human approval changes. Human understanding is limited. There will always be people who fail to see what makes you special. There will always be people who misunderstand your intentions. There will always be people who cannot appreciate what they have never experienced themselves. Yet none of those things determine your worth. Your value is not defined by how many people understand you. Your value is not determined by how many people celebrate you. Your value is not dependent on popularity, status, or recognition. Your value comes from who you are and from the unique qualities that have been developed within you through years of growth, struggle, faith, and perseverance. If you feel different from everyone around you, do not immediately assume something is wrong. Sometimes the discomfort comes from growth. Sometimes the separation comes from preparation. Sometimes the loneliness comes from learning lessons that will eventually help others. Sometimes the path feels different because the destination is different. Not every battle you fought was in vain. Not every tear was wasted. Not every delay was meaningless. There is a strength within you that kept moving forward even on your darkest days. There is wisdom within you that was earned through experience. There is value within you that exists whether others recognize it or not. There is hope ahead of you even if the road behind you has been difficult. Your story has value even if it did not unfold the way you expected. The chapters that seemed confusing may one day reveal deeper meaning. The seasons that felt empty may one day reveal hidden growth. The moments that made you question yourself may one day become evidence of how far you have come. The person you are becoming is being shaped by every challenge you survived and every lesson you learned along the way. Being different does not mean being forgotten. Being different does not mean being abandoned. Being different does not mean you are destined to walk alone forever. It means there is something unique within you that deserves to be honored rather than hidden. It means your journey carries lessons that can inspire others. It means your perseverance matters. It means your faith matters. It means your kindness matters. It means your endurance matters. And it means that even now, in this season of your life, there is still purpose unfolding in ways you may not yet fully understand. If this message helped you recognize the quiet strength that has carried you through so many difficult seasons, subscribe to the channel and continue walking alongside others who are seeking faith, healing, purpose, and encouragement. Sometimes the reminder that you are not alone arrives exactly when it is needed most, and perhaps future messages will continue strengthening your journey forward. There comes a point in the life of many chosen people when they stop asking why they feel different and begin asking what that difference is trying to teach them. This shift does not happen overnight. It usually comes after years of confusion, disappointment, and searching. It comes after enough experiences have accumulated to reveal a pattern. You begin to notice that the things that once made you feel isolated also became the very things that helped you survive. You begin to realize that your sensitivity was not weakness. Your thoughtfulness was not weakness. Your desire for deeper meaning was not weakness. Your refusal to become someone you were not was not weakness. For a long time, you may have felt pressure to become more like everyone else. You may have tried to silence parts of yourself in order to fit into certain groups. You may have hidden your dreams because people dismissed them. You may have minimized your values because others considered them unrealistic. You may have ignored your intuition because you wanted acceptance more than authenticity. Yet every time you attempted to abandon who you truly were, something inside you felt unsettled. No matter how hard you tried to blend in, your spirit kept calling you back to yourself. This is one of the most difficult parts of being different. The world often rewards conformity. It rewards people who follow predictable paths and meet familiar expectations. There is comfort in sameness because it is easy to understand. What is different often creates discomfort. It raises questions. It challenges assumptions. It forces people to think beyond what they already know. Many chosen people discover that they have spent years feeling like outsiders, not because they lacked value, but because they were trying to find places that could truly appreciate what they carried. Some people spend their entire lives surrounded by others, yet never feel understood. They have conversations every day, yet still feel emotionally alone. They attend gatherings, celebrate milestones, fulfill responsibilities, and maintain appearances while carrying a deep sense that nobody truly knows their heart. If this has been part of your experience, you are not alone. Many people who carry unusual depth experience this struggle. They crave genuine connection. They long for conversations that move beyond the surface. They desire relationships built on honesty, trust, growth, and mutual understanding. When those things are missing, loneliness can exist even in crowded places. Yet there is an important truth that many people discover only after years of searching. The goal is not to be understood by everyone. The goal is to remain true to yourself until you find the people who recognize your value. Not everyone is meant to walk every season of your journey with you. Some people enter your life to teach lessons. Some arrive to offer encouragement. Some stay for years. Some stay for only a short chapter. The difficulty comes when we expect every relationship to provide what only a few relationships can offer. The chosen often learn this lesson through heartbreak. They learn it through disappointment. They learn it through misplaced trust. They learn it through giving more than they receive. Yet even these painful experiences contain hidden wisdom. Every relationship teaches something. Every ending reveals something. Every loss creates space for growth. There may have been times when you wondered why certain people drifted away. You may have blamed yourself. You may have replayed conversations in your mind. You may have questioned whether you were too much or not enough, too emotional, too thoughtful, too quiet, too intense, too different. Yet many times the issue was never your worth. The issue was compatibility. Not everyone is prepared to understand your journey. Not everyone values the same things you value. Not everyone is willing to grow in the same direction. Some people connect for a season, and then their paths naturally diverge. This does not mean either person is wrong. It simply means that life continues moving. One of the greatest signs of maturity is learning to release relationships without allowing them to define your worth. Your value does not decrease because someone failed to appreciate it. A diamond remains valuable even if someone mistakes it for an ordinary stone. In the same way, your character, your compassion, your resilience, and your faith retain their value regardless of who recognizes them. The challenge is remembering this when rejection hurts. Rejection has a way of making people question themselves. It whispers that they are inadequate. It suggests that they are unlovable. It convinces them that they are somehow flawed. Yet rejection is often more about alignment than worth. A closed door does not always mean failure. Sometimes it means protection. Sometimes it means redirection. Sometimes it means preparation for something that better fits who you are becoming. Looking back, many people eventually realize that some of the things they desperately wanted would have limited their growth. Some opportunities would have distracted them from their purpose. Some relationships would have prevented them from becoming who they were meant to be. At the time, those losses felt devastating. Yet with perspective, they begin to see that not every unanswered prayer was a punishment. Some were acts of mercy. Some were evidence that God saw a larger picture than they could see at the moment. This realization often changes everything. Instead of viewing every disappointment as proof that life is against them, they begin viewing challenges as part of a larger process. They stop interpreting every delay as denial. They stop seeing every obstacle as evidence of failure. They begin understanding that growth often requires seasons of waiting. Strength often requires resistance. Wisdom often requires experience. The strongest trees do not grow in perfect conditions. They grow through storms. They develop deep roots because they have been forced to withstand powerful winds. Human beings are often the same. The difficulties you faced may have been developing roots within you that are now supporting strengths you once lacked. Perhaps you became more compassionate because you experienced pain. Perhaps you became more patient because life forced you to wait. Perhaps you became more understanding because you endured misunderstandings. Perhaps you became more resilient because circumstances demanded resilience. These qualities are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of transformation. They are reminders that difficult seasons can produce valuable outcomes, even when the process feels painful. Sometimes people look at the chosen and assume their strength came naturally. They see the calm exterior and assume life has always been easy. They see the wisdom and assume it appeared effortlessly. They see the confidence and assume it was always present. What they do not see are the countless moments that built those qualities. They do not see the nights spent wrestling with fear. They do not see the disappointments that tested faith. They do not see the tears shed in private. They do not see the silent decisions to keep going. Strength is rarely created through comfort. It is usually forged through perseverance. The confidence you have today may have been born from surviving seasons that once convinced you that you could not continue. The wisdom you carry may have been purchased through painful experiences. The peace you now possess may have come only after years of internal battles. This is why your journey matters. Every chapter contributed something valuable. Even the chapters you wish had never happened helped shape who you are becoming. There is a tendency to focus on what remains unfinished. We notice the goals not yet achieved, the prayers not yet answered, the dreams not yet realized. Yet sometimes we overlook how much progress has already occurred. Think about the person you were years ago. Think about the fears you carried. Think about the insecurities you battled. Think about the obstacles you faced. Then, think about where you are now. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you are not where you used to be either. Growth is often gradual. It happens one lesson at a time, one challenge at a time, one act of faith at a time, one decision to keep moving forward at a time. The chosen often underestimate how much they have already overcome. Because they are focused on the future, they forget to acknowledge their progress. Yet your survival is evidence of progress. Your endurance is evidence of progress. Your continued faith is evidence of progress. The fact that you are still hoping, still believing, still growing, and still seeking meaning after everything you have experienced is remarkable. Many people would have become cynical. Many would have stopped trying. Many would have surrendered to bitterness. Yet something within you continued reaching toward hope. That hope matters. It is one of the clearest signs that your story is still unfolding. God has not forgotten you. The difficult seasons were never meant to convince you of your worthlessness. They were opportunities to discover strength that circumstances could not destroy. They were opportunities to uncover faith that hardship could not eliminate. They were opportunities to reveal character that success alone could never develop. There is still purpose ahead. There is still growth ahead. There are still meaningful connections ahead. There are still blessings ahead, not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you have become stronger, wiser, and more prepared than you realize. The differences that once made you question yourself may eventually become the qualities that allow you to encourage others. Your story may become someone else's source of hope. Your perseverance may become someone else's motivation to continue. Your healing may remind someone else that healing is possible. Your faith may inspire someone else to keep believing through difficult circumstances. Nothing you endured was meaningless. The chapters that felt empty still contained lessons. The seasons that felt lonely still contained growth. The years that seemed confusing still contributed to your development. There is value within you that no disappointment can erase and no rejection can diminish. Continue honoring that value. Continue trusting the growth taking place within you. Continue believing that your story matters. Continue remembering that being different is not a flaw. It may be one of the clearest signs that your journey was never meant to look exactly like everyone else's. If these words encouraged your heart and reminded you that your journey still carries purpose, subscribe to the channel and continue receiving messages centered on faith, healing, resilience, and personal growth. You deserve reminders that your struggles were not meaningless and that the strength you built through them can continue guiding you forward. One of the most beautiful realizations that arrives later in the journey is the understanding that being different was never a punishment. For many years, it may have felt like one. It may have felt like a burden that separated you from others. It may have felt like an invisible wall between you and the rest of the world. It may have felt like a constant struggle to explain yourself, to find your place, or to feel fully understood. Yet as time passes, many chosen people begin to recognize something extraordinary. The very qualities that once caused pain often become the source of their greatest contribution. The empathy that made you vulnerable allows you to comfort others in ways few people can. The sensitivity that made life feel overwhelming allows you to recognize suffering that others overlook. The perseverance that was forged through hardship allows you to remain steady when others lose hope. The wisdom gained through difficult experiences enables you to guide people through challenges you once faced yourself. What once seemed like a weakness reveals itself as a strength. What once felt like a disadvantage becomes an advantage. What once appeared to isolate you becomes part of the reason you can connect so deeply with people who need encouragement. Many people spend years trying to become someone else because they believe acceptance exists on the other side of imitation. They convince themselves that happiness will arrive once they fit in, once they become more like the people around them, once they stop standing out. Yet true peace rarely comes from pretending. It comes from acceptance. It comes from recognizing who you are and allowing yourself to live authentically. This does not mean becoming arrogant. It does not mean believing you are superior. It simply means understanding that your value does not depend on becoming a copy of someone else. God did not create every person with identical experiences, identical gifts, identical challenges, or identical paths. Diversity exists for a reason. Different journeys produce different forms of wisdom. Different struggles produce different forms of strength. Different personalities bring different kinds of beauty into the world. When you stop fighting who you are, you free yourself from a battle that was never meant to be fought. You begin investing energy into growth rather than comparison. Comparison is one of the greatest thieves of peace. It convinces people that their lives should look exactly like someone else's. It causes them to overlook their own progress because they are focused on someone else's achievements. It makes them feel behind when they are simply following a different path. Many chosen people struggle with comparison because their journey often unfolds differently than expected. They may reach milestones later than others. They may take unconventional routes. They may spend years in seasons of preparation, while others seem to move ahead more quickly. During those moments, it is easy to feel discouraged, yet every life unfolds according to its own timing. Some seeds grow quickly, others take longer to emerge. Yet both can eventually produce something beautiful. Your story was never meant to be measured solely against the stories of those around you. Your story carries its own lessons, its own timing, and its own purpose. The delays you experienced do not mean you were forgotten. The detours you encountered do not mean you were abandoned. The struggles you endured do not mean you were destined for failure. Many times the deepest growth occurs beneath the surface where nobody can see it. A tree spends years developing roots before its full height becomes visible. Human beings often experience a similar process. There are seasons when outward progress seems slow, yet profound transformation is taking place internally. Character is being strengthened, wisdom is being developed, faith is being refined, patience is being cultivated. These qualities are not always visible to the world, but they become invaluable over time. Some of the strongest people are not those who achieved success quickly. They are the ones who endured long periods of uncertainty without losing their integrity. They are the ones who continued showing kindness despite disappointment. They are the ones who maintained faith despite unanswered questions. They are the ones who kept moving forward despite setbacks. If you are one of those people, never underestimate the significance of what you have already overcome. There were moments when giving up would have been easier. There were seasons when discouragement felt overwhelming. There were times when nobody seemed to understand what you were carrying, yet somehow you continued. You found the strength to take another step, then another, then another. Those steps mattered. They built the life you are living today. They shaped the person you are becoming. They proved that resilience existed within you, even when you doubted yourself. Sometimes the chosen spend so much time focusing on what they still lack that they forget to recognize what they already possess. They overlook the wisdom they have gained. They overlook the strength they have developed. They overlook the compassion they have cultivated. They overlook the faith that survived seasons designed to destroy it. They overlook the courage required simply to keep going. Yet all of these things have value. In fact, some of them are far more valuable than the recognition you once sought from others. Recognition is temporary. Character endures. Applause fades. Integrity remains. Popularity changes. Wisdom continues growing. External validation comes and goes. Inner strength stays with you. The world often encourages people to focus on what can be seen. It celebrates titles, achievements, possessions, and appearances. Yet some of the most meaningful victories are invisible. Forgiving someone who hurt you is a victory. Choosing hope after disappointment is a victory. Remaining kind after rejection is a victory. Continuing to trust God during difficult seasons is a victory. Refusing to let pain define your identity is a victory. These victories rarely receive public recognition, but they shape lives in powerful ways. They shape your life. They shape the lives of people around you. They create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. There may still be days when you feel different. There may still be moments when you feel misunderstood. There may still be situations where you feel out of place. Yet those experiences no longer need to convince you that something is wrong with you. Instead, they can remind you that your path is unique. They can remind you that your value does not depend on universal approval. They can remind you that your worth was never meant to be determined by how easily you fit into every environment. Not every room is designed for you. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. Not every opportunity aligns with your purpose. Learning this brings freedom. It allows you to stop chasing acceptance from people who cannot appreciate who you are. It allows you to focus on becoming the healthiest, strongest, and most authentic version of yourself. It allows you to invest in relationships that genuinely nourish your spirit. It allows you to embrace your journey rather than constantly questioning it. The older many chosen people become, the more they understand that their differences were not obstacles standing in the way of their purpose. Their differences were often part of the preparation for that purpose. The compassion developed through pain becomes a gift to others. The wisdom gained through struggle becomes guidance for others. The resilience developed through adversity becomes inspiration for others. The faith maintained through uncertainty becomes encouragement for others. Your journey matters because it has shaped you into someone capable of offering light during dark seasons. Even if you do not fully see it yet, your experiences carry value. Your survival carries value. Your growth carries value. Your story carries value. You are worth far more than the moments that tried to make you feel small. You are worth far more than the disappointments that attempted to define you. You are worth far more than the rejection that once wounded your heart. The opinions of others cannot erase the value that God placed within you. The setbacks of the past cannot cancel the possibilities of the future. The difficult seasons cannot change the truth that you still have purpose. God saw every tear. God saw every sacrifice. God saw every silent battle. God saw every moment when you kept moving forward despite exhaustion. Nothing was hidden from him. Nothing was wasted. Even the seasons that seemed empty were contributing to your growth in ways you could not yet understand. Today, you may still be walking through uncertainty. You may still be waiting for answers. You may still be healing from wounds that others never knew existed. Yet take comfort in this truth. Difficult times do not define your destiny. Delays do not define your destiny. Rejection does not define your destiny. Loneliness does not define your destiny. Your story is larger than any single chapter. Your future is larger than your current circumstances. Your value is greater than any criticism you have faced, and the strength within you is greater than many of the challenges that once seemed impossible to survive. Continue believing in the value of who you are. Continue nurturing your faith. Continue honoring the growth that has taken place within you. Continue trusting that your journey has meaning, even when every answer has not yet arrived. Continue remembering that being different is not something to fear. It is often a reminder that you were created with qualities that deserve to be appreciated, developed, and shared with the world in your own unique way. If these messages have helped you feel seen, encouraged, and reminded of the value that still lives within you, subscribe to the channel and continue this journey of faith, healing, purpose, and personal growth with us. May every future message strengthen your hope, deepen your resilience, and remind you that you are never forgotten and never walking this path alone.